Richard was working in a menswear store. He was failing miserably. He was hoping to improve. The district manager, a man by the name of Harold, was going to come in and visit the store, and Rich thought that if he had a great sale while this guy was in the store, that it would maybe buy him some time to improve. And the customer who walks in happens to say, hello, I want to buy an entire wardrobe of clothing. They're going from thing to thing, and he's selling the guy shirts and ties and slacks and belt and underwear and pocket square and this whole sale. Rings him up, sends him on his way, and is thinking that he's going to be congratulated by Harold. Harold doesn't say anything. Finally, they're standing side by side, and Harold says to Rich, he's like, that was a nice sale. And Rich's like, well, yeah, it was $1,100. That was great. And Harold says, yeah, but can I ask you a question? And Harold says, out of curiosity, Richard, out of everything that you show that man, what did that customer say no to? I guess he didn't say no to anything. And then Harold asks Rich the really important question, which is, well, then how did you know he was done? Everybody wants to hear yes, and they've been taught and trained to hear yes. And in order to get more yeses, in order to hear yes more often, you've got to be willing to hear more no's. In fact, we say you've got to go out and intentionally increase the number of times you are hearing the word no in order to get to those yeses. And so that's the fundamental philosophy. Of course, there's a lot behind it because we do have all the psychology behind it and all the emotions that are wrapped up in getting those no's and feeling like we're failing and all of that. So I don't like to hear no either. And I realized that as great a salesperson that I thought I was, I actually shied away from hearing no because I didn't want to look pushy. I didn't want to look overly aggressive. I did, all of that. As kids, we start off very tenacious. We're willing to try everything. We're willing to fall flat on our face. We don't care. And then somewhere along the line in our teenage years, we just kind of get that tenacity drummed out of us. And we kind of get taught and trained and learn that you don't want to stand out and you don't want to look like a failure in front of people. So here we are all as adults, just shying away from looking like that sleazy, pushy salesperson, asking somebody for anything. It doesn't matter. This is not even necessarily a sales philosophy. It's really, we like to say it's a life philosophy. It's asking for anything and having somebody think, wow, she's pushy, So I think we've been raised with some of these paradigms. And so we kind of keep living them over and over again. The first thing I would recommend to anybody is just start to create a no awareness. Really look around and say to yourself, how many no's, as if you're a salesperson, how many no's am I getting a week or a day? And try to really quantify it and try to really look and say, I don't continue to show things or to make calls if I got the 2 yeses I wanted for, a particular day. So create that no awareness, and then gotta do something that we call setting no goals. So instead of just saying, I'm going to get a 1 yes today, we suggest that you say, I'm going to try to get 5 no's this week. And it can be, whatever you want, whatever it could be. We help people in fundraising. So it doesn't really matter what you're, quote, asking or what you're selling. It's really just have fun with it, set a no goal, and try to get more no's. A lot of people, they have kind of a perfectionistic quality. They want to be great, which is great, but, they almost put too much pressure on themselves to be perfect. And so what I would tell somebody is I give them permission and actually insist, I want you to fall flat on your face. You're going for no. So I'm going to pick up the phone or talk to the person, and I don't want you to get yes. I just literally get no, be bad, fall on your face, experience it so that you can at least take the action and do it. And then we can move to the next step and improve on that. But it's taking that action and seeing that, gosh, nobody died. I survived. It wasn't a disaster. And what's funny is when people do that and they have permission to go for no, and they have permission to live in that go for no world and have that go for no mindset, the stress actually is removed. And what we find is that people relax more, and the whole experience is actually so much better because we said, listen, there is no pressure here. We want you to mess up. Don't worry about it. my favorite story is one time we were at this conference and I saw the vice president of a huge retail organization standing over in the corner, and I wanted to approach her, and I just thought, oh, I was very young at the time. I was super nervous, and I thought, you spend all this money, you pay this money, what's the worst that can happen? Remember to go for no. So I walked up, I approached her, we had a great conversation, and we ended up doing, probably $100,000 worth of business later on, because I just forced myself out of my comfort zone and had to remind myself to go for no. And the truth is, I've gotten over the whole psychology and the emotional reaction. That's been so freeing for me, because I do keep my stress down. I do understand the whole go for no philosophy, but every now and then, when I get nervous, I have to remind myself and tap into everything that I know. So that's why it's so fun for me to teach, is I get the constant reinforcement every day. I have so many great stories of people who tell me that they're teaching this to their children because they feel like they want their kids to remember this. And, kids that are 10, 12, 14, they're starting to hit that magic age where they start caring what other people think and start reining themselves in. But it is a complete life philosophy. We all tend to shrink back and not ask for what we want. Jack Canfield talks about this quite a bit and relates it to self-esteem. So, we always say, you're out with your spouse or significant other and you're at a restaurant and they put you at the horrible table in the back next to the water station. And then, of course, there's the cute table for two in the front with the candle. And this is your moment to say, okay, I'm going to go for no. If they put us, if they can't move us to the cute table, at least I asked, at least I tried. So ask for what you want, and you'll be amazed at what can happen. So it's definitely a great life philosophy.
If you enjoy this podcast, please make sure to subscribe. And to stay updated on everything that the Action Catalyst is up to, make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Action Catalyst Podcast, and on Twitter at Catalyst_Action. And thanks for listening.